Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I am here to set up my brand new Plum Paper Daily. I am so excited to finally use this planner. I reviewed this planner over a month ago at this point, where I compared 3 different coiled daily planner options. It came with a chart and everything so that you could compare all of the coiled daily options that I've reviewed. There's obviously way more out there. There are so many planner options out in the community, y'all, but I've shared 3 different options, and this is the one that I have decided to go with, and I'm just so excited to dig in. So let's go ahead and get it all set up. The first thing I did was write my name. That's the easiest thing to do in your planner. And I know some people will put like their phone number or their email in case it gets lost. I'm not gonna lose my planner. Maybe if I was going somewhere, I don't know. Even when I'm going back and forth from work, I still don't feel the need to write my phone number, email in my planner. I always just write my name and then I write my Instagram handle. The next set of pages are these sort of 2020 overview pages. And I know a lot of people will use these pages to mark like their kids' school calendars, and they'll put like which days are off and etc. I have never really consistently used these pages. I've tried using them for vacation day planning. I found I'm just better off doing that in a spreadsheet. I've tried using it for like habit tracking, where I would just like check off a habit. I've tried using it for cycle tracking. I also just do that in an app digitally. So I've never really found a use for these pages, so I didn't set anything up here. Plus these 6 months, they've already happened. So the next layout is this special dates layout. So it has January through December special dates. And there are a lot of ways that you can use this page. You could put birthdays here. You can put memories, like go back and track things afterwards. There's a lot of cool ideas here. And what I had originally intended to use it for was future dates. So future things that I need to plan in advance. So I was gonna use this side for 2020, so that I could just jot things down when they got scheduled, and then I would move them to the actual planner when we got closer to the date, and then I was gonna use January through June for 21. Well, the thing I learned from this page is that paper mate flares smear very easily on this Plum Paper paper. I like the smooth paper, but because there's no grittiness, I have to let the paper mate flare dry or it's gonna smear. So that's what happened. I wrote on this side, and then I just immediately flipped it over to write on this side, and it smeared. So my plan here is actually to glue these pages together. I did not bring an adhesive roller with me down to Texas, so I'm not gonna deal with it right now, but I am going to glue these pages together. And so then on this page, I decided to kind of set up the same concept, but now I can really do it in the right order. So I can do 2020 on this side and 2021 on this side. So I labeled this side 2020 July through December, and so far we just have a couple of weddings. And then this side I did January through June of 2021. And so far, all I have scheduled is our wedding. I mean, we have a couple more, going home for the holidays, but other than that, there's really, actually I need to write Go Wild in here in June. But other than that, that is all that we have scheduled for the upcoming months. But again, I'll just fill this in as things get scheduled. I did start to fill them in closer to where they are. Like I put these 2 kind of down at the bottom because that's like this is the end of October and the end of November. I think in the future, I might just write them as they happen, and they might be out of order on these pages, and that's okay. But I think rather than trying to like finagle the space, I think it would be better to just like start at the top and write the first thing that gets scheduled and then go from there. Now, if I do end up loving this planner and I get another 6-month one that starts in January of 2021, I probably won't fill it in myself because these will be in the right order, and I'll just make sure not to let it smear, right? So I can do 2021 the whole year. And then I'll have to come up with another use for this page, but for now, this is gonna work. So then you get to the notes pages for the month of July. And I didn't set anything up here because I don't really know what I wanna use these pages for. My daily planner is really more about like the day-to-day and like having it open to that day all the time. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to use these pages and if I'm gonna remember to go back and check them. So for now, I didn't set anything up, but of course I might change my mind at some point. So then we get to the monthly layout, and this is where I have my first bookmark. And for now, I'm going to be using this for content planning. So if you watched my July planner stack, I talked about the content planner that I have been using recently for content planning, but it was just too big, and I tried to limit the amount of things I was bringing with me, so I didn't bring the content planner with me to Texas. So for now, I'm going to be using the monthly layout as my content planning. So I use these stickers from Chrissy and Designs, and I listed out sort of the categories of content that I share. I share tools, I share inspirational things, educational, and then like personal things about me. And so I'm going to use the big ones for YouTube, which is what I kind of already put here on Fridays. I didn't fill them in because I know some of you like to be surprised what the content's gonna be. You can get a sneak peek of the categories, but the actual content I decided not to fill in. I didn't put YouTube stickers for Monday and Wednesday because it's the vlog and the plan with me. So unless that's gonna be different, I'm not gonna waste stickers on writing vlog and plan with me. So I just planned out Friday's videos, and then I'm gonna use the thinner ones to plan out Instagram. So I haven't done it yet for the month of July, but when I sit down to plan out my July content, I will plan out posts for Monday through Saturday on Instagram using the 4 colors and planning it out and trying to keep it pretty balanced so you're not seeing a lot of the same things all the time. And then what I like about these stickers is that they're removable, so that if things change, something pops up that I wanna share on Instagram, I could just take the sticker that was for that day and I'll just stick it in the side column to use at a later date and just be able to move things around. This is what I was doing in my content planner with bigger versions of these stickers before we came down here, but I'm excited to have it in my daily planner because I think it'll be easy to, flip back each day and be like, oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna share on Instagram today. So I only used the 4 cooler toned colors for July, and then we'll see if I have enough left over. I might do the same for August. I mean, this entire planner is kind of all cool toned colors. So I don't know if I'm really all that excited to dip my toe into the warm colors. Like, I don't like how that looks with the green. So we'll see. But also once we're back in New York, I may not end up using my monthly layout for content, but that's what it's being used for now. Then we get to the daily layout. And before I set it up, I actually made a photocopy of it and played around with it. I did this back in New York when I first got the planner, and I started like mapping out. I did a bunch of them to kind of figure out what I wanted to put here. And this is sort of what I ended up with that would work well for me. So in the top left corner where they have those 3 colored boxes, I'm putting my routines, and I'm labeling it morning, post-work, and evenings. And those are the 3 routines that I try to do every single day that really just help me with my goals and my life. And so I decided to, instead of like a top 3 to do, I'm just gonna have that be my routines. Then I'm planning to use the to-do list just as a to-do list. So I wrote the word to do at the top. Then on the time section, so they have a section where it's got a little bit fainter of a dot, and it would be where you would write like the times of day. I decided just to split it up into morning, day, and evening, just like I was doing in my daily petite planner before I switched to this one. So I drew the lines and then I labeled it morning, day, and evening, and I will just fill in specific to-dos or specific things that are happening at each of those times of days. The to-do section is really for things that pop up in my head that either I wanna make sure I get down on paper or will take 5 minutes and I wanna do it at a different point in time. Whereas the things that fall under the different times of day are things either happening at that specific time or I'm doing it during that specific time. Then in this little colored box, I was originally gonna write a quote and then I decided to put these stickers there. But honestly, now that I see it and it looks like it's being swallowed by that box, I might go back to actually writing an inspirational quote in each of these little boxes. I thought it would be a good way to use up my half box quotes, but now that I look at it, I don't love the way it looks. And then in the bottom section, I wanted to track my health and wellness stuff. So on the first one, I wrote wellness, and you'll see on the second one, I wrote health. And I put my water and my 5 boxes for my water, and then Apple Watch, and I put the 3 boxes. I decided not to label the 3 boxes for my Apple Watch because I think it'll motivate me. Because at least if I get 2, it doesn't matter which 2, getting 2 is better than getting 0. Like, I'm not even wearing my watch right now. So I decided to just put 3 boxes and not actually write what they are or what the numbers are. I might change that up at some point. I mentioned this in another video that sometimes I like writing the numbers for my Apple Watch because if I get 11 out of 12 stand goals, I don't get the check, but 11 is pretty close. So we'll see. You'll also see that I didn't even learn my lesson here and the Papermate flare smeared here too. So I still haven't decided if I'm going to set up all the days in advance, like on a Sunday when I do my weekly planning is to set up all the days, or if I want to do it as I go. For now, I decided to go ahead and set up 2 days because in this planner, I only had 2 work days next week. So I decided to go ahead and set up the second, and what I did was I timed myself. So I started the timer and I set up July 2nd from start to finish, and it took me exactly 2 minutes to set up the entire day. So I like the idea of setting it up the week in advance, and I don't know if I'm gonna change my mind on the structure, and the shadowing doesn't bother me. That's one of the reasons I didn't set it up in advance in the planner before this. But if it only takes me 2 minutes, like, can't I just do it the morning of? I don't know. I did not set up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because I'm off of work on Friday and I don't know what the plans are for the weekend. This is 4th of July weekend. It's not a typical weekend. My family's going to be down here and we're gonna be hanging out with them. So I'm not like stuffing in a bunch of productivity on this weekend. So I decided not to go ahead and set it up, but I'll show you. I did play around with what I would do on the weekends. So on the weekends, I would only do 2 routines, just morning and evening. There's no post-work routine, obviously. So when I played around with this, I wasn't sure which section I was gonna use for times, because I do like kind of mapping out my time on the weekends. So I can either do it here and then I get only 1 hour per line, but I can get 10 hours. Or I can do it here where I get 2 hours per line, but then I only get 8. And down here at the coast, that's plenty. I don't do anything more than 8 hours down here. So that's probably what I'll do for now, not this weekend, but in the future. I'll do this section and do every other, and then use this section for a to-do list. And then I was thinking I would use this section for a cleaning list for the things I want to clean over the weekend. I mentioned this in my review too. Every other weekend, Saturday and Sunday are back to back, which I don't love. I would rather them be next to each other, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make to have Saturday and Sunday each have their own page. So that's how I'm thinking I'll set up the weekends, but on a normal weekend, not a holiday weekend. So then we get to the back of the month where I have all of my custom pages. There's also one more notes page that I didn't set up. So then we have the cleaning page. And originally I wanted to write week of at the top, but I somehow wrote week on instead. So I just added the word ending in between there to kind of make it work. And then I went ahead and listed the weeks of July under each of the rooms. You can see that I added some clarifications to some of the rooms, like bathrooms. I did upstairs bathrooms and then downstairs bathrooms. Once we get back to New York, that won't be a problem because there's only one bathroom. But for now, that's how I'm labeling this. I think in the future, I won't write the month because it's all July, so having all those 7s is pretty redundant. And then I think I might also skip lines, just because I have the space. I think the intention is that you would write what you would do in each of the rooms, but when I'm cleaning, I find that I'm just better off like going into that room and doing that whole room and not having a list of things that I do. So I decided to just do the weeks. And then on the back, I didn't set up anything yet. I don't know what I'm gonna put here. Again, we have a very small apartment in New York, but even down here at the Coast House, it's still not that big. So there's just not a lot of extra things to do. I might in the future, once I kind of work on a cleaning plan, which was gonna be my Q3 goal before we came down here, I will do like things that I won't do every month, have like quarterly goals or quarterly cleaning tasks or something. So then we have the fitness page, which all I did to set this up was write the month at the top because there's no scale down here, so I can't actually do any of this. I mean, I could write a goal, but I can't actually weigh myself. And the plan is to use these just as they're labeled. I'm really excited about this page actually. So vitamins, I'll just give myself a check when I take my vitamins. Sleep, I don't know why it says sleeps with an S on the end. I think that's kind of weird. But for here, I'll just put the number of hours approximately that I slept. And then steps, that one's easy. And then exercise, this is where I might actually write my Apple Watch Ring calorie numbers. Not the exercise minute, but the calorie numbers. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see if I end up liking that and if there's value in tracking that. And then I realized, after I'd already set up these pages, that there's a water tracker here. It does have the 8 little glasses, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna use this water tracker, or maybe I'll just give myself like a check in the water section if I hit all my water goals. I think I'm gonna track it better if it's on the daily page and not flip back here. I can see myself flipping to this page once a day to like write it in at the beginning of the day or the end of the day, but I'm not gonna come fill in my water here all day long. So I think it's fine. I just might do a check or like leave it blank if I don't actually do it. Or I could do what Taylor at Tattoo Teacher Plans does, where she gives herself like a check plus or a check minus. So I could do that in the water section too. So then we have the habit tracker, which I do plan to set up before next week. Actually, maybe that's where I want the bookmark, is on the habit page. So what I'm planning to do here is just write my habits that are from my power sheet. So just the 5 habits that I've chosen to focus on from my power sheets, I'm gonna write those in this section. And as of the time that I'm filming this video, I haven't done my July goals yet. So I haven't filled these in, but I will do that. And then the last page that I have for each month is the to-do list page. So it's got like these little sections for to-do lists, and I decided just to label them with different categories. So just things that pop into my head: plan with Lakin related, wedding related, home related, or other. I think as the month goes on, I'll figure out if these categories work. I can also add more categories, and then in the future, I'll figure out which categories I really need. But for now, that's how I decided to start it. So that's it for the month of July, and then we flip to the back where I have the meal planning section. So it starts with like just some information, meal planning and stuff, and then we get to the actual meal planning pages. So I set this up a little bit by just putting the week. I decided not to do the week of July 4th because again, my family is gonna be here for a lot of it, so it just didn't seem necessary. I haven't quite figured out how I'm gonna use this, if I'm gonna do just dinner or if I'm gonna do lunch and dinner, or if I'm gonna use it more for tracking purposes. So I was thinking maybe, I already wrote to use and to buy, so it's kind of too late for that, but maybe what I'll do in the future, see, this is why I should talk it out before I set it up, is put the meal planning in one of these sections, like the plan. Because the other thing that I do when I meal plan, or I have been recently, is I don't set things to specific nights. It's like, here are the 5 meals that we're eating this week, and then kind of whatever we feel like cooking that night is what we end up cooking. So I can just cross it off, do the meal plan here, and then use this section for actually tracking my meals, which is something I do want to get better at, just to track, because I find that when you track your food, you tend to eat healthier. So maybe that's what I'll do. I'll do like a meal plan, like this can be, match with this week, and it'll just be the meals that we need, that we have the ingredients for, and then I can match this one with this week. I don't know. Yeah, now I'm debating that. But there's enough for all 6 months in the back here. And that's it. That's all that I've set up so far. But I am so excited to dig into this planner. I learned that I have to let it dry because the Papermate Flare does smear very easily. And maybe I just have to switch to a gel pen. I was so excited to write with my Papermate Flare in here though. Let me go back to my pen testing. Yeah, I mean, as all gel pens do, they do leave a ridging on the other side. So I might have to test it for one day and see if the ridging bothers me. And if it doesn't, then I might switch to a gel pen just because it likely won't smear as easily. I think, I mean, it still could smear, I guess. But I'm still excited about the thickness of this paper and obviously about the coil. So that is gonna be it. I am going to try and figure out how I can share more setup videos with you, or at least show you this planner. It might be in the weekly vlogs because, as I've mentioned, getting it all set up to be able to do a top down like this is not something I can do consistently every single day. And since it's a daily planner, it is something I'm going to set up every single day. Even if I do the structure in advance, the actual to-dos and stuff I won't fill in until the day of. So that is gonna be it for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you so much for watching. Happy planning. Oh, the cookies are done. Have better success? Oh, operate my life better. I can't even think of a way to say that. My dad says sleeps when I'm gonna see him, like I'll see you in 3 sleeps. Anybody else's dad say that? I'm going to try to figure out how I can share more setup with you videos.